Dad, I think it's time you consider moving into a nursing home. Those words from my son hit me like a punch to the chest 1 month ago. A nursing home. To me, that felt like the end of the line. But here I am today, living comfortably on just $500 a month. No nursing home, no full-time caregiver. And I'm about to tell you exactly how I did it. My name is Robert Chun. I'm 75 years old. I spent 40 years climbing the corporate ladder at a Fortune 500 company, retired as a senior executive, and thought I had my life figured out. But losing my wife 7 years ago changed everything. Suddenly, the house felt too quiet. Hospital visits became mountains to climb. And every day, I asked myself the same question. Where do I belong now? I see some of you nodding. Maybe you're asking the same question. When you reach your 70s, everyone has an opinion about how you should live, move in with your kids, hire a caregiver, go to a nursing home. But here's what nobody tells you. None of those options might be right for you. Before we go any further, please hit that like button and subscribe. This channel shares stories that can change how you think about aging. And trust me, today's story will give you a completely different perspective. So, let me tell you what happened when I tried all 3 traditional options and why I ended up choosing none of them. For months after my wife passed, I lived alone. At first, it was manageable. I could cook, drive, handle my affairs. But slowly, things changed. My shoulder began aching constantly. I'd climb downstairs and my legs would wobble. Opening jars became a challenge. Carrying groceries left me winded. Then one evening, I slipped in the bathroom. Nothing serious, but it scared me. That night, lying in bed, I thought, what if something worse happens? So, I called my son, David. What would you think if I came to live with you for a while? He didn't hesitate. Dad, of course you should have asked sooner. His wife welcomed me warmly. My grandkids hugged me at the door. That first week felt wonderful. Family dinners, laughter in the living room. I thought, this is what I needed. But then reality set in. David and his wife both worked long hours. The kids had school, sports, friends. By the second week, I found myself alone in the house most days, just like before, except now in someone else's home. The small conflict started. Dad, could you use less salt? Your blood pressure. Dad, can you turn down the TV? The kids have homework. I understood. They weren't being cruel, but every comment felt like a reminder. You're a guest here. You're in the way. One night, I overheard my daughter-in-law on the phone. I know it's the right thing to do, but honestly, it's exhausting. I can't even go shopping without worrying. And he gets so quiet when we go out. You can tell he feels left out. Those words crushed me. That's when I realized living with family doesn't mean you're less lonely. Sometimes it makes the loneliness worse because you're surrounded by people, yet you still feel invisible. A viewer once commented, living with your kids might seem nice, but everyone needs their own space. It's better to stay independent as long as you can. They were right. After 3 months, I told David I was moving back home. He worried I'd be unsafe, but I insisted. I needed my own space. I needed to stop being a burden. Back home, I felt relief, but I also felt the weight of reality. I couldn't do everything alone anymore. My wrist hurt when I lifted pots. I dropped things. Cleaning exhausted me. Those stairs reminded me daily. I wasn't young anymore. One afternoon, changing a light bulb, my hand started shaking. The bulb slipped. I grabbed the wall to steady myself, heart racing. This is how old people end up in the hospital, I thought. So, I looked into caregivers. Not full-time. That felt too invasive, but maybe part-time help. 5 days a week, 3 hours each day. The first caregiver was Maria. Mid-50s, warm smile experienced. When she first arrived, I felt awkward, a stranger in my kitchen touching my things. But after a few weeks, I relaxed. She cleaned efficiently, cooked simple meals, ran errands. We even talked sometimes. For a moment, I thought, this might work. Then the bills came. Even part-time care cost $4,000 a month. My Social Security covered $2,200. I had savings, but watching that account drain month after month, I couldn't sustain it. And there were other issues. I liked cleaning the kitchen immediately after breakfast. Maria preferred to do it later. Small differences, but they gnawed at me. Why do I have to adjust to someone else's routine in my own home? Then Maria left. Family emergency. Suddenly, I had to start over with someone new. Different person, different habits, different personality. The third caregiver lasted 1 month. The fourth 2 weeks. Every time someone new walked through my door, I had to explain everything again. I was exhausted. One comment I'd read online stuck with me. Health is everything. If you're healthy, you can live alone or with others. It doesn't matter. The problem comes when your body fails and you lose your freedom. I thought, I'm not there yet. So, why am I paying $4,000 a month to live like I am? I canceled the service. Back home, I felt relief. But I also felt the weight of reality. I couldn't do everything alone anymore. My wrist hurt when I lifted pots. I dropped things. Cleaning exhausted me. Those stairs reminded me daily I wasn't young anymore. One afternoon, changing a light bulb, my hand started shaking. The bulb slipped. I grabbed the wall to steady myself, heart racing. This is how old people end up in the hospital, I thought. So, I looked into caregivers. Not full-time. That felt too invasive. But maybe part-time help. 5 days a week, 3 hours each day. The first caregiver was Maria. Mid-50s, warm smile experienced. When she first arrived, I felt awkward. A stranger in my kitchen touching my things. But after a few weeks, I relaxed. She cleaned efficiently, cooked simple meals, ran errands. We even talked sometimes. For a moment, I thought, this might work. Then the bills came. Even part-time care cost $4,000 a month. My Social Security covered $2,200. I had savings, but watching that account drain month after month, I couldn't sustain it. And there were other issues. I liked cleaning the kitchen immediately after breakfast. Maria preferred to do it later. Small differences, but they gnawed at me. Why do I have to adjust to someone else's routine in my own home? Then Maria left. Family emergency. Suddenly, I had to start over with someone new. Different person, different habits, different personality. The third caregiver lasted 1 month. The fourth 2 weeks. Every time someone new walked through my door, I had to explain everything again. I was exhausted. One comment I'd read online stuck with me. Health is everything. If you're healthy, you can live alone or with others. It doesn't matter. The problem comes when your body fails and you lose your freedom. I thought, I'm not there yet. So, why am I paying $4,000 a month to live like I am? I canceled the service. Now I was out of options. Or so I thought. David found a facility nearby, $3,000 a month. Clean rooms, medical staff, meals included. He suggested I try it for 1 month. Just to see, Dad. I agreed mostly because I was tired of figuring things out alone. The day I moved in felt strange, like checking into a hospital, except I wasn't sick. My room was small but clean. Nothing like home. The first few days weren't terrible. I met other residents. We played cards, talked about the old days. Meals were decent. But by the end of the first week, I started feeling trapped. Wake up 6 a.m., breakfast 7:30. Lunch 12. Dinner 5:30. Lights out 9 p.m. I'm a night owl. I like reading. Until midnight. But here at 9, the hallway lights dimmed. If they saw a light under my door, a nurse would knock. Mr. Chun, it's time to sleep now. Time to sleep. I'm 75 years old. I've been making my own decisions for 75 years now. A stranger is telling me when to go to bed. One evening, I wanted to walk outside. Beautiful night. Cool breeze, clear sky. I headed toward the exit. A staff member stopped me. Mr. Chun, outdoor time ended at 7 p.m. Safety policy. Safety policy. Those 2 words became my prison. The worst part, I wasn't even that sick. I could walk, think clearly, take care of myself. Yet, here I was living like I'd lost all independence. My roommate snored like a chainsaw every night. I asked to switch rooms. We'll see what we can do. Nothing changed. After 3 weeks, I called David. I'm leaving. Dad, you said you'd give it a month. This isn't living. I'd rather struggle at home than be comfortable in a cage. The day I walked out, the sun felt brighter. The air felt fresher. I was free again. Back home, I felt lighter, but also stuck. I'd tried everything. Family, caregivers, nursing home. None of it worked. For a few days, I did nothing. Just sat on my porch, watched the neighborhood. Life was happening all around me, but I felt separate from it. Then one afternoon, walking through the park, I passed the elementary school. 3 p.m. kids streaming out, parents picking them up. That's when I saw Sarah. She lived in my building, always rushed, always stressed. She was on her phone pacing. I can't leave work early again, Mike. My boss already said something last week. She hung up. Looked like she might cry. I knew her situation. Husband traveled constantly, raising their 6-year-old daughter mostly alone. Without thinking, I walked over. Excuse me, Sarah. If you need someone to pick up your daughter, I'd be happy to help. She looked startled. Oh, I couldn't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. I walk past here every day. Are you sure? I'm sure. What's her name? Emma. 1st grade. I'll be here at 3 tomorrow. That's how it started. The next day, I picked up Emma, walked her home. She chatted about her day, her teacher, her friends. When Sarah got home at 5 o'clock, she knocked on my door with a plate of food. I made extra dinner. Please take this. I tried to refuse. You don't need to. Mr. Chun, you're helping me. Let me help you. That became our routine. I picked up Emma every day. Sarah left food for me. But it became more than that. Sarah's husband fixed my leaky faucet. Sarah helped me with online bill pay. Emma drew pictures for me, stick figures of us walking, a big sun in the corner. She taped them to my door. One evening, Sarah said, "You know, you've changed our lives. I was drowning before you showed up." I smiled. You've changed mine, too. I forgot what it felt like to be needed. And that was it. That was the key. I didn't need someone to take care of me. I needed to still matter, to still contribute. One comment I'd read said, "The key isn't living with family or alone. The key is staying healthy and building a community that supports each other." That person understood exactly what I discovered. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying everyone should do exactly what I did. Your situation might be different. Maybe you're sicker than I am. Maybe living with your kids actually works for you. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. But here's what I learned. First, you don't have to choose between total independence and total dependence. There's a middle ground. You can accept help without giving up control. You can contribute without exhausting yourself. Second, community matters more than money. I spent $4,000 a month on caregivers and still felt lonely. Now I spend $500 and I feel more connected than I have in years. Why? Because money buys services, but not relationships. Sarah doesn't help me because I'm paying her. She helps because I help her. That's different. Third, you still have something valuable to give. I spent years thinking I'm old now. I'm slowing down. What do I have to offer? Turns out a lot. I have time. I have experience. I can walk a 6-year-old home. I can listen when someone needs to talk. Age doesn't make you worthless. It just changes what you have to offer. Fourth, aging doesn't mean your life is over. Helping Sarah reminded me, my life isn't over. It's just different. I'm not climbing the corporate ladder anymore, but I'm still here. I still matter. Today, I'm living on my terms. Sarah and her family have dinner with me twice a week. Emma draws me pictures. I've started helping other neighbors, too. We're not a formal arrangement. We're just neighbors who realized we're all in this together. Some people ask, but what about when you get really sick? Fair question. Maybe one day I'll need more help. Maybe I'll revisit those options. But for now, I'm living. And when that day comes, I'll face it the same way. Find what works for me, not what society says I should do. If you're watching this and wondering what to do when you can't live alone anymore, here's my answer. Don't assume the traditional options are your only choices. Look around your community. Ask yourself, what can I still offer? Who might need what I have to give? Maybe you're good with kids. Maybe you're good with finances. Maybe you just know how to listen. One commenter said it perfectly. The first condition is always health. Stay healthy and everything else becomes easier. They're absolutely right. Take care of your body. That's your foundation. But beyond health, build relationships. Not because you'll need help someday, but because life is richer when you're connected. I'm 75 years old. I live alone, but I'm not lonely. And I'm not waiting for the day I can't manage. I'm living now, today, on my terms. If this story resonated with you, please like this video, subscribe, and share it, and leave a comment. What's your plan for your golden years? I'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching, and remember, your best years aren't behind you.